Even the borders of Harambee cannot protect our animals from the most dangerous threat of all, poaching. To the poachers, these beautiful animals represent only food. Rhinos and elephants are sources for their furs and ivory.
How many are your party today? Four awesome intros with either side, left or right.
Bienvenidos a Kilimanjaro Safari. Para su seguridad, permanezcan sentados y mantengan las manos, brazos, pies y piernas
Or do you speak Spanish?
Once the boat is currently please remain seated with your hands, arms, feet and legs inside, and remember to watch your
I'm learning Portuguese, so I thought you were speaking Portuguese. Where are you guys from?
Bienvenidos a Kilimanjaro Safari. Para su seguridad, permanezcan sentados y mantengan las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del vehículo. Y cuiden sus niños. Gracias. Ciao everyone, and welcome to Kilimanjaro Safari. Before you begin your trip, you should know that the unpaved roads of the Harambee Wildlife Reserve are still rough and rugged terrain. You may experience bumps and some jolts on the safe and pleasant trip. You should be in good health and free from high blood pressure, heart, back or neck problems, motion sickness, or other conditions that could be aggravated by this adventure. Expected mothers should not lie. Once on board your safari transport, please remain seated with your hands, arms, feet and legs inside, and remember to watch your children. Your transport will be arriving shortly. Asante sana. Enjoy your adventure at Kilimanjaro Safari. Bienvenidos a Kilimanjaro Safari. Para su seguridad, permanezcan sentados y mantengan las manos, brazos. Safari transport, please remain seated with your hands, arms, feet and legs inside, and remember to watch your children. Your transport will be arriving shortly. Asante sana. Enjoy your adventure at Kilimanjaro Safari. Bienvenidos a Kilimanjaro Safari. Para su seguridad, permanezcan sentados y mantengan las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del vehículo. Y cuiden a sus niños. Gracias. Hello everyone, and welcome to Kilimanjaro Safari. Before you begin your trip, you should know that the experience bumps and some jumps on your safari adventure. To ensure a safe and pleasant trip, you should be in good health and free from high blood pressure, heart, back or neck problems, motion sickness, or other conditions that could be aggravated by this adventure. Expectant mothers should not lie. Once on board your safari transport, please remain seated with your hands, arms, feet and legs inside, and remember to watch your children. Your transport will be arriving shortly. Asante sana. Enjoy your adventure at Kilimanjaro Safari. Bienvenidos a Kilimanjaro Safari. Para su seguridad, permanezcan sentados y mantengan las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del vehículo. Y cuiden a sus niños. Gracias. Hello everyone, and welcome to Kilimanjaro Safari. Before you begin your trip, you should know that the unpaved roads of the Harambee Wildlife Reserve pass through rough and rugged terrain. You may experience bumps and sudden jolts on your safari adventure. To ensure a safe and pleasant trip, you should be in good health and free from high blood pressure, heart, back or neck problems, motion sickness, or other conditions that could be aggravated by this adventure. Expectant mothers should not lie. Once on board your safari transport, please remain seated with your hands, arms, feet and legs inside, and remember to watch your children. Your transport will be arriving shortly. Asante sana. Enjoy your adventure at Kilimanjaro Safari. Bienvenidos a Kilimanjaro Safari. Para su seguridad, permanezcan sentados y mantengan las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del vehículo. Y cuiden a sus niños. Gracias. Hello everyone, and welcome to Kilimanjaro Safari. Before you begin your trip, you should know that the unpaved roads of the Harambee Wildlife Reserve pass through rough and rugged terrain. You may experience bumps and sudden jumps on your safari adventure. To ensure a safe and pleasant trip, you should be in good health and free from high blood pressure, heart, back or neck problems, motion sickness, or other conditions that could be aggravated by this adventure. Expectant mothers should not lie. Once on board your safari transport, please remain seated with your hands, arms, feet and legs inside, and remember to watch your children. Your transport will be arriving shortly. Asante sana. Enjoy your adventure at Kilimanjaro Safari. Bienvenidos a Kilimanjaro Safari. Para su seguridad, permanezcan sentados y mantengan las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del vehículo. Y cuiden a sus niños. Gracias. Hello everyone, and welcome to Kilimanjaro Safari. Before you begin your trip, you should know that the unpaved roads of the Harambee Wildlife Reserve pass through rough and rugged terrain. You may experience bumps and sudden jolts on your safari adventure.
Alright,
To ensure a safe and pleasant trip, you should be in good health and free from high blood pressure, heart, back or neck problems, motion sickness, or other conditions that could be aggravated by this adventure. Expectant mothers should not ride. Once on board your safari transport, please remain seated with your hands, arms, feet and legs inside, and remember to watch your children. Your transport will be arriving shortly. Asante sana. Enjoy your adventure at Kilimanjaro Safari. Bienvenidos a Kilimanjaro Safari. Para su seguridad, permanezcan sentados y mantengan las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del vehículo. Y cuide a sus niños. Gracias. Jumbo everyone, and welcome to Kilimanjaro Safari. Before you begin your trip, you should know that the unpaved roads of the Harambee Wildlife Reserve pass through rough and rugged terrain. You may experience bumps and sudden jolts on your safari adventure. To ensure a safe and pleasant trip, you should be in good health and free from high blood pressure, heart, back or neck problems, motion sickness, or other conditions that could be aggravated by this adventure. Expectant mothers should not ride. Once on board your safari transport, please remain seated with your hands, arms, feet and legs inside, and remember to watch your children. Your transport will be arriving shortly. Asante sana. Enjoy your adventure at Kilimanjaro Safari. Bienvenidos a Kilimanjaro Safari. Para su seguridad, permanezcan sentados y mantengan las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del vehículo. Y cuide a sus niños. Gracias. Jumbo everyone, and welcome to Kilimanjaro Safari. Before you begin your trip, you should know that the unpaved roads of the
Thank you much. Jumbo everyone, my name is Bob. I'll be your guide through the Harambee Wildlife Reserve today. Just a few short safety reminders. Please remain seated throughout our trip. And if you have any small children sitting on your lap, keep them seated as well. This is a bumpy ride. Don't want to see anybody get tossed around. Keep your hands and arms inside the vehicle at all times because we do get close to some of the brushes. They do have thorns on them. If you want to take pictures or video, please feel free to do so. And if you want to use your cell phone as your camera, you might want to put it on action setting if your phone is so equipped. If you would happen to accidentally drop something off the side of the vehicle, please let me know. I won't be able to stop and pick it up, but what I will do is I'll call ahead. I'll get somebody to pick it up and get it to you. Up above your head, there's an animal spotting chart up there that lists a lot of pictures of the animals and the names of them that we might see. And over here on our right-hand side, the first animal we see over there, the one that's got the striped hindquarters, the striped leg, that's called an okapi. It might look like it's part of the zebra family, but actually it isn't. It's actually part of the giraffe family. It has the same skull design and same tongue design that the giraffe has, and those wasn't discovered until the early 1900s. Over here on our left-hand side, you'll see one of the black rhinos. It weighs over 3,000 pounds. It can run at speeds over 35 miles an hour. The horns on its nose is made out of keratin, the same material your fingernails are made out of. And there's less than 5,000 of the black rhinos left in the world today. Well, our next area we're going into is going to be called the Softee River area. This area will be looking for animals that either live by the water, sometimes in the water, or sometimes beneath the water surface. Or it could be a combination of any of those three. Back here, I know it's a little bit tough to see over here on our far right hand side. It's almost towards the back of our bus as we goes by it. Those are the hippopotamus. They weigh up to 5,500 pounds. They can hold their breath up to 8 minutes underwater. They can even sleep that way, be down at the bottom, rise to the surface, come back up, get a breath of air, go right back down again. They have 36 teeth, but the only thing they eat is grass and vegetation. But they do have some larger teeth in the front called incisors, which grow between 12 and 18 inches long, and those are used mainly just for self-defense. We'll see if we can find some more of the hippos over here on our left-hand side. The hippopotamus does like to stay in the water just about all day, because when it gets real hot, it actually cools their body temperature down. That one just went back down again and blew some air there. Letting you know he's there.
Is that you?
And over there on the island there, we have some pink-backed pelicans, the ones that are gray and white. They get their name because they go into mating season, their back turns to a real bright pink. It's not their feathers that's going to change color, it's actually their skin that does. We'll follow the curvature of the river here and go up around the bend. We get up here by the bridge. If you look down over on the left-hand side, over on the bank and in the water, we have the Nile crocodile. Those average about 16 feet in length, weigh at least 500 pounds, but they can grow as long as 20 feet long. Diet of the crocodile is usually fish, frogs, turtles, or snakes, but in the event an animal gets a little bit too close to the water's edge, the crocodile can leap from the water, grab it, and pull it down under. They have 2,000 pounds of crushing strength in their jaws. They can crush all of the bones in their prey's body, and they have been known to eat up to half their body weight in one meal. If the crocodile does come out of the water and come up on land, they actually can run for a short distance of up to 35 miles an hour, which is pretty fast for something being that long and heavy and having very short legs. The next area we're going into is called the West Savannah. In this area, we'll be seeing a lot of different types and species of animals.
J-Rip.
And each time we get up close to one of those, we'll tell you a little bit about that particular animal too. It looks like the first animals we're going to be seeing is going to be our giraffes. This particular species of giraffe is called Maasai, and what that means is no two of these giraffe have the same spot pattern. The adults grow from 16 to 20 feet tall. They eat for 20 hours a day and only sleep for 30 minutes. But they don't take a 30-minute nap. They take short naps of 3 to 5 minutes, wake up, continue walking and eating some more. And when they have babies, the little ones are born at 6 foot tall and weigh 150 pounds. These little antelope here that we see on the right-hand side, the ones that are reddish-brown, got a dark brown stripe and the white markings on them, those are called Springbok. They get their name because they can spring or leap straight up in the air about 6 feet. They can make jumps of 13 feet long and run at speeds over 40 miles an hour. And those are as large as they get, that very small antelope. And up here in the den on our left-hand side is the African wild dog. They're spotted in color. They're not canine dogs like we're used to. These are just hunters. They hunt in a pack. They run their prey down until their prey is exhausted, and then they get them. They have more than an 80% success rate, which is way higher than any of the big cats do. Plus, they don't bark like a dog that we know. They have a high-pitched squeal. The antelope are on our far left side over there in the shade. Those are called Sable Antelope. They're a dark red. They got the white markings and the tall black horns. Those are the ones that don't run from a fight. Anything that challenges them, they stand their ground. Anything tries to leap on their back, they take their horns and throw them off. But they are the only ones of the antelope species that'll do that. These tall mounds here are termite mounds. The termites bring up clay, dirt, and sand, mix it with saliva and dung, and when it's baked really hard in the sun, animals can use it as a scratching or a rubbing post. Here's some more of our giraffes. They have a real long black tongue. It's called a prehensile tongue. And what that means is they can reach out, grab around a branch, wrap around it, and pull all the leaves off of it, pull it right into its mouth. They use their tongue just like they do your hand. Dark gray animal here on our right hand side. They'll be spread out all over in different places. Those are called either gnus or wildebeest. They get in migration groups anywhere between 1 million and 1.5 million, and they'll walk between 500 and 1,000 miles. They also can run at speeds of 40 to 50 miles an hour, and they are part of the buffalo and bison family. They have a lot of black markings on them, and they all have black horns. These cattle over here on our right-hand side, these are African domestic cattle called Ankoli. All the males and the females have horns. The horns don't weigh as much as you might think because they're actually hollow. They have blood vessels in them, and when the air blows across the top of their head, it cools their blood down and keeps their body temperature cooler. The African farmers have these cattle, but they don't keep them for meat or milk. They're kept as a prestige. The farmer that has the most of those cattle is said to be the most wealthiest farmer. Continue on to West Savannah looking for some more animals. And up here on our right hand side, I know they're a little hard to see. They'll be up here in the shade. Maybe we'll get a better look at them. We have the African elephants. These would be the males. They like to pretty much stay by themselves. They have the really big ears. They fan back and forth. It actually keeps their body cooler, about 10 degrees. When the sun gets really hot on their back, they take their trunk, throw sand or dirt upon their back, and it protects them from the sun. Or they come down to the water's edge, fill their trunk full of water, and hose themselves down. They eat about 300 pounds of food a day. See if we can get a better look at them up here. When the males, which both of those are, but they're not fully grown yet, when they get fully grown, they'll be up to about 13,000 pounds. We'll go on up a little farther and see if we can find some of the female elephants. They like to stay in larger groups together. They watch over each other, and they watch over any young ones or baby elephants that might be in the group. Whether it's their baby or young one or not, the females are very protective over the little ones. One thing that the elephants don't like, and it's honeybees. It's not that they're afraid of them, it's just they don't like them. I guess it's the buzzing up around their ears that irritate them, so they won't go near them. Farmers in Africa found this out, so the farmers take beehives, place it up around their crops and around their gardens. It keeps the elephants from eating up their food. Plus the farmers also get an extra treat out of that. They get honey from the bees. We'll be looking over here on our left-hand side for some of our female elephants. They do have a large area over here to roam around in, but hopefully there'll be some down towards this shadier area. I do see one of the larger females over here, and there's another one right here beside us. gets real close. And if you notice, both the male and the female of this African elk, they all have tusks. The females get between 9 and 10,000 pounds. That one that's over here on our far left-hand side, she's got a younger one with her. Very protective. And then this one over here, it's been in the water. And then there's another younger one over here by the dirt bank. These trees here that look like they're upside down, they have no leaves on them. Those are called baobab trees. They don't have leaves on them for more than 9 months out of the year. But what they do is they store massive amounts of water inside that huge trunk. If animals are in need of water and can't find a water source, they can go up to those trees, push in on the soft spots in the trunk of that tree and get water from it. That's why those trees are also known as the tree of life. I see some more of the female elephants on up there a little farther in the tree line over there. They're kind of spread out quite a bit. And coming up on our left-hand side on this little island is the greater flamingos. They're a little bit taller than your standard flamingos, but they're also a lot lighter in color. They get their pink coloration from what they eat, which is brine shrimp. They will nest in pairs. Male and female will stay together and watch over the nest if they have any eggs, and also any hatchlings, they'll watch over them too. And they can nest in groups anywhere between 20 to 500 pairs. And sometimes if you catch them napping over there, they'll have their head and neck over their back and actually go to sleep standing on one leg. The next area we're going into is the East Savannah. And you look over underneath the palm tree over there, you'll see the rhinos over here. These are a little bit larger than the other rhinos was. These weigh over 5,000 pounds. They're called white rhino, but they're not actually white in color at all. It pertains to they have a real wide mouth and wide jaw. They weigh over 5,000 pounds, but they can still run at speeds over 35 miles an hour. The horns on their nose is also made out of keratin, just like your fingernails are. They do have a limited eyesight at long distance, but up close they can see you very well. But they do have an excellent sense of hearing and an excellent sense of smell. I'm taking it easy over there, enjoying the shade. And coming up here on our left-hand side, if we're lucky enough to pick them out, the cheetahs live over here. Usually they'll stay in the real heavy shaded area and they'll lay down in the leaves over there, and they're kind of hard to find. But if you look real close, I think you can see them over there, laying over there by the trees. That is the fastest land animal there is. They can go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, or they can run over 70 miles an hour. That's the only cat that doesn't retract its claws, and that's the only big cat that purrs like a domestic house cat. The next area we're going up to is a rock formation called Kopie. It's used by animals at different times of the day to either take a nap or use as a lookout. And if you look past this tree up here on the just to the right of it, you'll see one of the male lions taking a nap up there, laying there taking it easy on the rock. The male lion lays around for about 16 hours during the day and watches over the pride, and the female lions are actually the ones that goes out and does the hunting. They'll bring the meat back, and it's all shared by the group, by the pride. Their eyesight is about the same as ours during the day, but at nighttime, the lions can see about 6 times greater than we can, which makes them great evening or night hunters. There's another female laying there underneath the tree on the back side there on the grass. And the Swahili word for lion is Simba. And on our left-hand side up here coming up as we make the turn, This is where our warthogs live. They have their dens up here. They go back into those dens sometimes and stay cool. But right now they're laying over there underneath the shades of the trees. They have the long shaggy coat. And they have the real tall tusk on the top they use for digging, and the short tusk on the bottom are sharper. They use those for eating or self-defense. They are part of the swine and pig family. And coming up here on our right-hand side, you'll see some of the ostriches. And as one of the largest land birds, it's also a very fast runner, can run at speeds over 45 miles an hour. And if it spread its wings all the way out, they'd be 9 feet wide, but it doesn't fly. And those are some of the ostrich eggs laying there. They weigh up to 3 pounds each, equal to about 2 dozen chicken eggs. And a person weighing up to 200 pounds can stand on them and won't crack the egg. And that little antelope that's laying there, the one that's reddish brown, it's got the white markings, it's called a bontebok. Those were almost extinct in the wild. There was only 20 of them left that a farmer found, put them behind a fenced-in area, kept them fed and watered, try to keep them going, and we're trying to do the same thing, helping out with that cause to try to keep them from going completely extinct. This next area we're going into is called Ghani Glint. It's a real heavy shaded area. It's got a lot of tree foliage, green grasses, and also has some underground water springs that come above ground. It makes it feel like it's a little bit cooler back here. If you look up on this hill when we make the turn, up on our left-hand side, you'll see a scimitar horned oryx. It gets its name because of its horns, grows like a scimitar sword, really long and curved. You won't find any more of these in the wild anymore. These are completely extinct. The only way you'll find these is in a protected reserve like here. They used to live in regions that were close to deserts, and they could go for up to 9 months without drinking water, and they didn't perspire until their body temperature reached over 115 degrees. But since a lot of those areas have been developed and a lot of little villages and towns have been moved in there, their natural habitat disappeared, and the scimitar oryx disappeared also. The next area we're going into is a waterfalls area, which means we're getting a little bit closer to Harambee village. And if you'd like to see some more animals while you're visiting Africa today and you haven't done so yet, I might suggest the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. It's a nice, easy walking area. You can take strollers in there with you, and it's also wheelchair accessible. They have monkeys, gorillas, apes, naked mole rats, meerkats, and zebras, and they also have a new baby gorilla that was born there in May. It's a little girl, and her name is Grace. Or if you'd like to take a train ride, right next door to Gorilla Falls is the Bratiki area, and they have a wildlife express train that takes you real close to the animals, and you can actually, it has a couple of stops you can get off the train and get very close to the animals. The train ride runs all the way up today until 4:30 p.m. and Gorilla Falls is open up until 7 p.m. this evening. Anytime as you come out and take a safari with us, it's going to be different. And the reason for that, it's always the animals. We never know where the animals are going to be and what they'll be doing. But we do appreciate you coming out, taking your time, taking your safari with us today. My name is Bob. I won't say goodbye to you, but what I will say is Kwaherini, which means go well. I do hope the rest of your day here at Animal Kingdom goes very well. Try to stay in the shade as much as you can and drink plenty of water. And if we have any wilderness explorers on board, the name of this vehicle is called Simba One. And anytime you come back to Animal Kingdom, make sure you come back and take another safari with us. We'd love to have you come back and visit with us again. We hope you learned some new facts about some of our animals and got to take some good pictures. You have a really good afternoon.
Quería hacer hipopótamo para estar allá adentro. I have pretty decent. No, naisip.
But be aware, these are of the tourists.